that anybody who starts by himself or herself and proceeds to create value for people and generate money out of it is considered to be a entrepreneur, right? So that could, in that sense, almost anybody could qualify as an entrepreneur, right? Where, because if you are promoting yourself as a business, so in fact, if you go and look at the HR competencies of even large organization, where you probably are just doing one part of the job, you'll see competency called entrepreneurship, right? So what does entrepreneurship as a competency mean inside a large, quote unquote, bureaucratic organization, right? So one part of entrepreneurship is that definition of that it is self-initiated and you are generating value for specific purpose, right? And that it is a business. You are running something like a business which is generating value and generating money out of it, right? So that's the generic definition of entrepreneur, right? Now, so technopreneur is a specific kind of an entrepreneur. So I would say it's in the definition world, it's a special case of an entrepreneur, right? So a technopreneur has to be an entrepreneur before that person becomes a technopreneur, right? So the main difference between a technopreneur and an entrepreneur is, what is the special part of being a technopreneur is how the person uses technology to execute on that whole business idea or the generation of value, right? Where in a generic business sense, you can use technology to achieve some objectives, whereas in a technopreneur, the technology is the main driver for the business, right? Or the outcome. So technology is the main driver for the outcome. So that's the definition part of it, right? So now, let's take an example, right? So the one example we started discussing around was on a distribution company, right? So if you as an entrepreneur, you set up a distribution company where the main job is to stock goods from larger suppliers and distribute it to retailers, right? So that's a fairly well-established business. It's a well-known ins and outs. There are logistics involved, right? So the various parts of the business, right, which are well-established, well-known. There are standard software available. You can run a distribution business out of the box, right? It's not like there is already enough knowledge available. So if you have to look at the same business from the technopreneur perspective, right? So there, what you're looking at is how can technology enable my business to generate more value, and I can get more output for the same resources, right? So you are looking at that. So now the view would become, okay, I have technology, the latest technology, which means I need to know when my retailers are running out of stock. I need to be able to predict. I need to be able to get real-time information of the status of how the goods are being distributed, how much I have in stock, right? So I invest in that technology to make sure that that standard business model, I can make it more efficient, or even introduce completely new ideas of how my retailers are ordering stuff and how we are restocking it, how we automate stuff, right? So in that case, the business becomes technology driven rather than the other way around, right? So there, the technopreneur is looking for opportunities. How can this plain vanilla or the standard business can be turned into a mega scale business using technology, or more efficient, right? So doesn't always have to be about scale, right? It also has to be about how can we bring new ideas and new innovation, provide new kinds of outcomes, right, which were not possible without technology.
So,
right? So
I would answer this. Just because you're a great architect doesn't make you a technopreneur.
That is correct. That is correct. Okay. So it does not automatically imply.
Okay.
Right.
So what do they have to do?
So that's the generic part of the entrepreneurship which has to be included, right? So which is, are you thinking like a business person? Are you thinking like generating value out of the technology which you are putting in, right? So those are the things, and you're conscious about the constraints of technology and the business and all the factors which impact the outcomes, right? And the focus still remains business, right? It's not about technology, in the sense that the outcome has to be a business outcome. It can be driven by technology, right? So those are anyway fundamental to thinking like to become a better architect. You need to think like that.
But a good architect always has business alignment, right? So
that right.
Then,
so
I think maybe the key thing lies in what you said is ability to accept the constraints of resources. I think good architects say, we need to have alignment, but they don't. I have a constraint on resources. I have a constraint of money. Still, how do I do it? That mindset is not there with most of the architects. They say, this is important for business. If I have $1 million, I have a solution. But if the CEO says, I've got only 50K, he will say, sorry, I can't do anything more.
Yes.
Go get the money, then we will make it happen.
Exactly. You see, as a business person, so for example, if I'm a business owner, right? If I'm the entrepreneur, right? I would think about what is it, how much investment I can really make and how much I can really get out of it, right? So I'm thinking about that always. And if an architect is not thinking like that, I would say they are not really thinking like an entrepreneur or technopreneur.
Yeah, stopping.
I'm just saying sometimes there is unlimited supply of money. Right? Sometimes, right? I'm amazed. Yeah, we have seen situations like
that. Correct.
We have seen situations like that where it is sort of unlimited set of money. Architects can go crazy.
Yeah.
Right. That is the opposite side of the problem. Right. So I have so much money, I can buy anything I want, but I don't know how to get it done. Right. They bring in all the best technology, the best cloud technology, best tools, everything. Still the solution doesn't work. Right. So I would say that requires different level of thinking. That then you have to think about the artificial constraints, right? Even when they say it is unlimited, it is not really unlimited, but it's just limited by your imagination, right? How much is really possible, right? But again, then that amounts to wasting of money, right? Because you will use extravagant. You see, this is typical to a lot of things. If I cannot solve the performance problem, let me just throw money at it and just expand the hardware base and the whatever cost of infrastructure, and let's be done with it, right? And sometimes, you see, sometimes that is required, right? You say, okay, I have to launch on X date. I cannot solve the performance problem for the short term. Let me throw hardware at it, but later on I have to fix it, right? So that's your incurring technical debt, right? But if that technical debt we have discussed this in the past, it becomes permanent, right? Say, okay, the money solved the problem. Let me just throw money at it. So why should I spend time architecting it?
Got it. So I think it's the ability to accept a constraint and not tell it as a basic requirement for a solution to work.
Yes.
Right. Whatever lack of or optimal use of resources is, I think.
You can push the boundaries a little and say, okay, I need more. Of course, you see, means there are all kinds of reasons why money is not available to you, right? And you can ask for more, and you can. The thing is to have the business sense when to ask for more and when not to ask for more, right? That is, I think, that is a skill which architects need to acquire, because if they really understand the business, they will know whether they can push that button or they cannot push that button.